त्राणाय कारुण्यगणागणत्वं संसारधावानललितलोका त्राणाय कारुण्यगणागणत्वं प्राप्तस्य कल्याणगुणर्णवस्य वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणारविन्दम् महाप्रभु कीर्तन नृत्य गीत वादित्रमध्यान् मनसोरसेन रोमाञ्चकं पाश्रुतरङ्गभाजो वन्दे गुरु श्री चरणारविन्दम् श्रीविग्रहाराधन नित्यनाना शृङ्गारतन्मन्दिरमार्जनाधो युक्तस्य भक्तांश्च नियुन्दतोऽपि वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणारविन्दम् चतुर्विधा श्रीभगवत्प्रसाद स्वाद्वन्वतृप्तान् हरिभक्तसङ्घान् कृत्वैव तृप्तिं भजत सदैव वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणारविन्दम् श्रीराधिका माधवयोरपार माधुर्यलीला गुणरूपनाम्नां प्रतीक्षणास्वधनलोलुपस्य वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणारविन्दम् निकुञ्जयूनो रतिकेलिसिद्ध्यै यायालिभिर्युक्तेरपेक्षणीया तत्रातिदाक्ष्याततिवल्लभस्य वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणारविन्दम् साक्षाद्धरेत्वेन समस्तशास्त्रै युक्तस्तथा भाव्यत एव सद्भिः किन्तु प्रभूय प्रिय एव तस्य वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणारविन्दम् यस्य प्रसादात् भगवत्प्रसादो यस्य प्रसादान्नगति कुतोऽपि ध्यायन् स्तुवंस्तस्य यषष्टिसन्ध्यम् वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणारविन्दम् वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणारविन्दम् हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण।
Thank you very much, Mataji, for such an amazing bhajan. Great, let's get started. Om Agnanatamidandasya Gnananjana Shlakaya Prasadam Shri Guru Mahanam Smalai Shai Swami Janamni Smalai Shai Ukalishmi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Janamni Namaste Saraswati Gaura Panchacharya Ne Vishe Vasita Vitakari Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Ekadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Great. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you very much for joining once again. I hope I am audible, and I'm not sure if I'm clearly visible, but I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are audible, Prabhuji.
So, let me know if all of you are able to look at the screen clearly.
Yes, we can see the screen.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So today we're starting with the Bhagavad Gita 18 days batch. Basically, Bhagavad Gita Um, could someone help me understand the meaning, or what does Bhagavad Gita mean? Anyone, whoever has an idea, please let me know. Please raise your digital hand so that we give an opportunity to everyone. Please raise your digital hand. And we did. Okay, I see Ankita Mataji. Yes, let me unmute you. Sorry. I think okay, since my co-host is taking care of the responsibility. Sorry, Chitra Mataji. I'm sure you're taking care of it. Yes, please unmute Ankita Mataji.
The song sung by the Lord Krishna.
Wonderful. Yes. I didn't think that I would get the answer at a go, but yes, thank you very much. Yes, that's absolutely right. It's the song sung by Bhagavan himself. Bhagavat. Bhagavat is Bhagavan himself, Sri Krishna himself. And Gita means the song. So that's the song sung by Sri Krishna. So you'd ask me, does that mean that we'd have to sing Bhagavad Gita? Yes. We've heard Mataji Chitra Mataji sing Bhagavad Gita shlokas for us. It must be sung in Sanskrit. So yes, that's how Bhagavad Gita is supposed to be recited, with joy of the song. So that's Bhagavad Gita for us. Before we get started, let's understand how did we get this particular opportunity, and thank the Guru Maharaj, thank His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada for giving us this particular opportunity. So basically, ISKCON is the International Society of Krishna Consciousness. Now, let me help you understand something about His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Saraswati Swami Prabhupada. Now, Prabhupada was definitely one of the most divine personalities born. At the age of 5 itself, I can show you one of the present. Yeah, at the age of 5 itself, as you can see in the first picture, he was taking care, or he was leading the chariot festival, which is Jagannath Rath Yatra. At the age of 5, in this Kali Yuga, we are not even able to stand up and walk properly. We have talking issues. We have understanding issues. We have so many problems. Forget about at the age of 5. Even at the age of 10, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, at the age of 15 as well, we still don't understand a lot of things. Forget about bhakti path. We don't understand at least the mechanical path, which is going to school. They don't understand what is happening. But at the age of 5, Srila Prabhupada was leading the chariot festival, which clearly demonstrates what a kind of a personality he was. And he met his Guru Maharaj at the age of 26. The moment his Guru Maharaj saw him, the moment his Guru Maharaj, His Divine Grace, Bhaktivedanta Swami saw him, he gave him the order of preaching Bhagavad Gita in the Western world, or for that matter, all over the world, because Srila Prabhupada was educated. Since he was educated, he knew English language. Correct. Since he was educated, he had the control of on the knowledge of Gita to the Western world, or even to the ones who don't understand the language Sanskrit. Therefore, it was the order given, or the message, or the instruction given by his Guru Maharaj, which Srila Prabhupada tried implementing ever since. He tried to implement his Guru Maharaj's order and take care of his order at various stages of his life. However, he wasn't as successful as he was when he went to United States. Now, how did he go to United States? In what condition did he go to United States? Well, that's an amazing story. Now, since Srila Prabhupada was married, he had his marital obligations to fulfill. He had to take care of his wife, he had to take care of his children. So at the age of 50, once everyone got into their own path, once Srila Prabhupada realized that the family is settled, the kids are settled, he took up preaching full time. Until then, he was taking care of preaching part time because he had to take care of, and he was an educated scholar. He was a chemist. So he was taking care of his family, he was taking care of his materialistic duties, plus he was also taking care of his Guru Maharaj's instruction, which is translating as many books as possible or spreading the word of Krishna consciousness. He tried spreading the word of Krishna consciousness for a lot of years in India. However, as you can look at the images, a lot of people here in India were so much attracted towards the Western culture. Even now, that's the same case. We're so much attracted to Western culture that we forget where our roots are. And that's what happened even back then. A lot of people forgot where the roots were, and they did not even understand how to, respect the decision or respect the suggestion or the request that they're getting from Srila Prabhupada. Since it wasn't that successful at the age of 70, Srila Prabhupada traveled to. Sorry, okay. So at the age of 70, Srila Prabhupada traveled to United States in the cargo boat with merely nothing but just 40 rupees, not even dollars. I'm talking about 40 rupees. With just 40 rupees, no relatives, no one known in that particular unknown country. All that he knew was he just had to spread his Guru Maharaj's, he just had to follow his Guru Maharaj's order, which is spreading Krishna consciousness. So all that he did was he just packed a bag with a lot of books that he had translated during his tenure here in India, and then he, started his journey to the United States. Now that was at the age of 70. Now at the age of 70, forget about at the age of 70, even at the age of 20, 24, 30, 40, we don't even think of traveling for so many days on the boat. Of course, for fun, for joy, for a lot of other things, we are very good with traveling. But otherwise, we are just so, lazy to travel so much for, anything. Even to get up from the bed on weekends, we sleep so late, maybe until 11, 10, sometimes 12. Sometimes we don't even get up. We have all of our breakfast, lunch, everything in bed. But at the age of 70, Srila Prabhupada traveled all the way to America with merely 40 rupees. And on the way to America, twice he had heart attack, twice he had heart stroke. Yet he survived. All that he said was, Krishna, just be with me. I'm following the instructions of my Guru Maharaj, and I need your blessings. With that blessing, he just, went ahead. And when he reached America, today in our offices, we find it so difficult to sit on the seats, on the cushioned seat, comfortable chairs for 8 hours. But Srila Prabhupada, as you can see, he sat on the ground, he sat on the park and started chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, started, singing the songs of Hare Krishna Mahamantra for 4 hours. At the age of 70, sitting on the floor, sitting on the ground and chanting, doing kirtan for 4 hours at a stretch with no one around him. All that he did was he just spoke to Krishna and said, I am here to follow the instruction of my Guru Maharaj and you're with me. So you take care of the rest. I'm doing my duty. And he did. He did his duty, and eventually it picked up a lot of people with the blessings of his Guru Maharaj and with the blessings of Sri Sri Radha Krishna. He got a lot of devotees who joined him slowly and steadily, because for any big thing to happen, nothing happens all of a sudden, right? It happens eventually. So eventually a lot of people joined Srila Prabhupada, and that's how ISKCON was formed. All right. And Srila Prabhupada has written a lot of books, more than about 80 books, such as Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamritam, teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and many other books. And the one magazine which was all-time favorite was Back to Godhead. As you can see, this particular magazine was all-time favorite. And with that particular magazine, with the preachings, a lot of people started respecting in the Western culture, in the Western country, a lot of people started respecting and honoring the words of Srila Prabhupada. So Srila Prabhupada's traveling journey, as you can see, it started in the year 1965 and it went on until 1977. It didn't end in America. It spread all over the world. Here you can see Shri Shri Radha Govinda, and this is the address of the temple of the Mangalore's address. And as Mataji had explained, with the blessings of His Grace Nishtha Das Prabhu, we are able to conduct free online Bhagavad Gita classes. So all glories to Nishtha Das Prabhu. Thank you very much. Thank you, Prabhu, for giving us this particular opportunity. I'm sure he is not here, but I'm sure he'll get the message. And all of us must thank him for giving us this particular platform of learning Bhagavad Gita for absolutely free. This is the first level. Of course, we have various levels. During this particular level, I'd really appreciate if all of you all could make notes of any point that you get here and there. I know that it's nearly impossible to cover the entire Bhagavad Gita in 18 days because we have 700 shlokas. Even for someone to complete Bhagavad Gita in a year, it requires 100% concentration, full dedication. But for us, we're taking care of our jobs. Here we are just trying to learn Bhagavad Gita in just 1 hour a day for 18 days. So all that we will do in this particular course is just take you through the gist of Bhagavad Gita, which is the level 1. Once that is done, we'll move on towards level 2, level 3, level 4, and all of these levels are for absolutely free. All right. Now, what is Gita? Why is Gita so important? Of course, before we started with this particular session, Mataji had clearly spoken to you, or helped you understand and recited few shlokas of Srimad Bhagavatam, which clearly tells us the importance of Bhagavad Gita. Now, Gita is one of the epic scriptures that answers all our problems. Sometimes we just ask the Lord to speak to us. We ask the God to speak to us. Now, God has spoken through Bhagavad Gita. Here, if we could understand Bhagavad Gita very clearly, we will know that the Lord is speaking to us in every second. He's guiding us with a lot of things. And Mahatma Gandhi, as you can see, has clearly told us that Gita will derive fresh joy and new meaning to everyone when everyone meditates on it. Also, we have a lot of message from a lot of known people who understand Gita, who read Gita, even our finance minister. Who is our finance minister? Political question. Okay, not go there. So yeah, so our finance minister as well had spoken to a lot of people, a lot of citizens of India, stating she reads Bhagavad Gita and she finds answers to all her problems, all her political, all her personal problems. So a lot of great personalities have understood the importance of Bhagavad Gita, because of which they say that it is the only source through which one can resolve all their problems. Now, yes, of course, in the market, we have umpteen varieties, umpteen flavors. Like we have different varieties of one particular food. If we talk about paneer, yes, we have paneer 65, we have paneer manchuria, we have paneer drumsticks, God knows what all varieties we have. Similarly, we have different varieties of Bhagavad Gita, but which one is accurate? Now, Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada, when he has written Bhagavad Gita, he could have directly just mentioned Bhagavad Gita. Why did he mention Bhagavad Gita as it is? Simple. It is the way it is. There's no manipulations. There's no additional interpretations. It's just literally the way it is. Literally the way Bhagavad Gita was spoken by Sri Krishna himself. Now, why do we have to say that, or how do we say, with what confidence do we say it was directly written the way it was? Because it's very simple. We are following the disciplic succession. As you can see, Sri Krishna gave the information to Brahma, Brahma gave the information to Narada, from Narada it came to Vyasadeva, so on and so forth. The entire lineage of this particular knowledge is clearly derived. Now, we are not asking you, or we're not saying that just go buy only Bhagavad Gita as it is. Do your research. Go ahead, do your research, understand who is the writer of that particular Gita, or that particular book. Who is the writer? What is the Guru Parampara? What is the disciplic succession? Understand if the line or the lineage of Guru Parampara is from Sri Krishna himself, or did the chain break somewhere and it's coming from somewhere else, or someone out of a blue wrote Bhagavad Gita. You just do your own research and you will understand it that Bhagavad Gita as it is the clear interpretation of what was spoken by Sri Krishna himself. It is very simple. Why do we have to use Bhagavad Gita as it is? Now, we all know we get the original charger of the phone these days. Yes. Now, can you or anyone say that the original charger or the duplicate charger works in the similar way? Yes. Anybody?
No.
We have fast chargers these days, right? The fast chargers charge your phones in just about 30 minutes or 20 minutes. So now the duplicate cables that we get, do they also charge with the same speed? Though they say it as a fast charging cable, does it really charge in that similar time as it charges as the original charger charges the phone? No, it doesn't, right? Since it doesn't, because it's not the original one. Therefore, here Bhagavad Gita as it is unbroken. It's not a broken cable. It's just the original cable of the phone. Therefore, we say Bhagavad Gita as it is passed on to us with the unbroken chain of disciplic succession. As I've mentioned, that to complete Bhagavad Gita in 18 days is merely impossible. We are not covering Bhagavad Gita thoroughly in 18 days. We're just walking through a gist of Bhagavad Gita. That's what we're going to do in these 18 days. All right. And that does not mean that you will only rely on this particular session of an hour that we're covering. Your interest is definitely appreciated. If you have time, whenever you find time, please go through the entire chapter yourself so you'd be able to catch up to the session that we are going ahead with. Okay. Now, the mode of Bhagavad Gita. Let's understand how Bhagavad Gita actually started. Why did Sri Krishna want to enlighten us with Bhagavad Gita? Did he really want us to know Bhagavad Gita? Well, basically, the mood of Bhagavad Gita is Arjuna's bewilderment, Arjuna's confusion. He didn't know what to do, if he's supposed to attack or if he's supposed to, fight on the battlefield or not. He was literally confused. He didn't know what to do. Therefore, he sought Krishna's blessing. That's when Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita. Now, why did Arjuna get confused? Well, all of a sudden, when everything was arranged on the battlefield, when Arjuna was there, Krishna was driving the chariot. He had requested Krishna to just take the chariot to the middle of the battlefield. Krishna drove the chariot to the middle of the battlefield, and that's when Arjuna saw, all of these are my relatives, my own people. Now, how can I attack? How can I attack on these people? Because when I attack, it's not like a kid's game where we shoot with the dummy gun, and then we act as if we're dead, but we're literally not dead. We just come back to life. That's not the case. If someone's dead, they're literally dead. They don't have their bodies anymore. They don't have their physical bodies anymore. So therefore, Arjuna was literally confused and he just didn't know what to do. Should he even proceed with what he thought of? Is it even right for him to proceed with what he thought? All of this confusion arose. Therefore, he asked Shri Krishna to drive the chariot to the middle of the battlefield, and that's when he saw all of his own people and his confusion increased, and that's when he asked Krishna for assistance, and that is exactly when the knowledge of Gita started. the knowledge of Gita came. Now, help me understand, do you think Sri Krishna is or does not understand if Arjuna is capable enough to receive the knowledge or not? Because if Krishna is talking to Arjuna, and he has chosen Arjuna to be the very first individual to listen to Gita, do you think Krishna will choose someone who just doesn't understand if he has to fight in the battlefield? Because we all know that if it's a battlefield, we are supposed to fight, right? Yes? Could someone respond, please? Please unmute and answer. Do you think Arjuna is, capable enough to be on the battlefield? Or capable
Yes.
enough or worthy enough to receive the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita?
Yes, Swamiji. Yes.
Yes.
Why? What qualities say us yes? Help us say yes.
So he's one of the trained warrior with the proper training, and
Right.
he has a right upbringing, and he has got the right training and capability to fight. That's why he is qualified enough to be there.
Sure, definitely. That's one of the reasons. But all the other Pandavas, the other four brothers, were also capable enough because they were brought up with the same, culture, the same, disciplined succession. So why only Arjuna? Yes, he was a great warrior. The others were great warriors as well. Why only Arjuna?
He
He
was
had the focus.
Yes, he had the focus. Yes, Akshaya Mataji, you could unmute as well.
He actually asked the question.
Yes.
He said, "Why should I fight?"
Yeah, he asked the question, and he sought the blessing. Yes, now that is in the battlefield. But do you think Krishna just thinks of what's happening just immediate next, or does he think of what's happening in the next yugas as well? Krishna is so merciful that he thinks maybe some yugas beforehand, right? So Ruhi Mataji, yes, you've raised your hand.
oh, he was very dear to Krishna. He was a good friend of Krishna,
Yes, he was a good.
and so Krishna thought and I think I've heard this before. Krishna uses him as an instrument to do the Gita Upadesh to him.
Yes, that's partially yes, right? Not as an instrument, I would say, but yes, partially yes. Krishna had chosen him to pass on the knowledge of Gita. That is because now, of course, Arjuna is the most focused individual and very intelligent individual to understand the knowledge of Gita, right? Now, yes, he's focused, he's a great warrior, he had great upbringing. All of the responses are just bang on. Thank you very much for those responses. Now, apart from all of this, now Krishna has chosen him because of very simple factor that he can understand anything very simply. Now, here it takes ages for us to even implement maybe a chapter of Bhagavad Gita. But Krishna has spoken Bhagavad Gita in how many minutes? The entire Bhagavad Gita was just spoken in 40 minutes, approximately. So if on the battlefield, Krishna had decided to give the knowledge of Gita to someone, he would definitely choose someone who can understand all of this in that limited time, right? Because on the battlefield, you can just imagine if everyone's ready with their bows, their arrows, everything, with their swords. Now, Krishna is talking about Gita, and if he takes his own sweet time, 1 year, 2 years to give the knowledge of Gita, what will happen? He would not have been able to complete the knowledge, right? Complete the Gita in the limited time. So therefore, he has spoken Gita in just about approximately 14 minutes, and he has chosen Arjuna because he is swift with his understanding. Now that's one of the reasons, apart from many reasons that you'll have given. Now, also, now you could ask if he was so intelligent, if he was so pious, if he was so, everything that you'll have spoken, then why did he ask such a silly question on the battlefield? why did he get confused if he has to attack or not? That is because it was all planned. If Arjuna clearly, knew that, okay, here we are, let's fight, then we wouldn't have gotten Gita, right? So it was all Krishna's plan that he has chalked. He had put Arjuna in the Yoga Maya, and that is why Arjuna had asked questions and sought surrenderance from Krishna, because of which Krishna has spoken Gita. All right. So let's get started with the initial chapter of Gita. Now, Gita is basically, as you can see, can someone read out the purport for us? Okay, I'll just do it if we don't have time. Now, apart from all the Upanishads are like a cow, and the milker of the cow is Lord Sri Krishna himself, the son of Nanda. Now, Arjuna is the calf, the beautiful nectar of Gita is the milk, and the fortunate devotees of fine theistic intellect are the drinkers and enjoyers of that milk, which is we. We are so blessed to drink this particular milk of Gita and enjoy the knowledge of Gita. So we are the ones who are blessed. Arjuna, of course, is blessed in the first hand, but we are blessed because we are able to get the knowledge of Gita via Arjuna through the disciplic succession without any manipulation. So we should thank again Nishtha Prabhu for blessing us with this particular opportunity. Now, Arjuna's Visada Yoga, which is Arjuna's lamentation, that is what we're talking about. Now, as you can see, the different reactions to the same scene. Now, to the left, on the top left corner, who is that individual? Can anyone help me understand who is the individual on the top left corner? Is everyone able to look at the screen?
Dhritarashtra?
Okay. And in between?
Sanjay?
Ashwadama?
No, the first
Ashwadama?
one is Dhritarashtra. The second one in between is Arjuna. And the one to the right, extreme right corner at the bottom?
Krishna?
Duryodhan.
Duryodhan.
Yes, Duryodhana. Now, why was Duryodhana giving that expression? Okay, let's start with the first picture. Okay, now what happened here, of course? Now, you all know why and how the entire, quarrel between Kauravas and Pandavas started, because, it was an unwanted or undesired, rule that the king didn't want to pass on. Obviously Pandu was the rightful king, but due to his demise, since the sons, all the Pandavas were all young, he had passed on as a caretaker. The kingdom was given to whom? Please respond.
To Duryodhan.
Dhritarashtra, not Duryodhana. Dhritarashtra.
Dhritarashtra, yeah.
So he was the blind king, right? Now, so since he was blind, obviously he could not, as a rule, the king could not be blind, because of which he was not the king. The Pandu was the king. And as a rule again, Pandu's sons are supposed to take over the throne. But since they were young, as a caretaker, Dhritarashtra had to take over for some time until the sons of Pandus, actually become eligible to take over the throne. But here, the Game of Thrones started. Now, since he had tasted the nectar of throne, he didn't want to give it up. He just wanted it to pass on to his son, so that his son could become the king without even thinking if his son is even worthy of being the king. At a very young age itself, he tried to kill the sons of Pandu. All right. In spite of knowing that, he yet wanted his son to become the king. So, do you think he was right or wrong? Obviously, it was because, like I said, the Game of Thrones started. He didn't want to give away that particular throne. Now, second is Arjuna, who's bewildered, and he's, like I said, like we spoke about before, he's on the battlefield and thinking, why am I here and why are we even doing this? All of these individuals who are in front of me, right opposite of my team, they all belong to me. They are my people, yet I'm here. He was feeling sad. He was worried about them. But Duryodhana, look at his reaction. Why was he giving that reaction? Can anyone unmute and tell me why was he giving that particular reaction?
Because he didn't want to hand over the kingdom to the Pandavas.
Yes, he didn't want to hand over the kingdom to Pandava, of course. But what, whom was he talking to? He's pointing at someone and he's talking to someone. So what do you think he was talking?
Confident that he'll be winning the war because Bhishma Pitama and all other warriors were
Because
in
her
their
grandfather
state.
Yes, Bhishma
and his
Pitama.
teacher.
Yes, Bhishma Pitama was in their team. He was not in the Pandu's team. Bhishma Pitama was still part of Kauravas.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. He
Yes,
was pointing at his guru, Duryodhana.
yes, exactly. So now Pandava's team was a small. Kaurava's team was the largest team. They had so many powerful individuals. Karna, Bhishma Pitamaha, there's so many people, all of these Kauravas, hundred of them, hundred of their siblings. They're so powerful. Yet, looking at the Pandavas, he just didn't know what to do. He had this fear in him. He ran to his guru, Duryodhana, and he said, look at that individual whom you gave the knowledge of, of fighting, is now standing opposite to you. Now, who is that? Who is that individual who was standing in the opposite team?
Brother of Draupadi.
Yes, brother of Draupadi. That's right. What's his name?
Drishtadyumna.
Shadumna. Yes. He was standing. He was the one who, he was the major of Pandava's army who arranged, and obviously Drishtadyumna was extremely intelligent. After receiving the knowledge from his guru Duryodhana, he arranged the army in such a way that on the battlefield, that looking at that arrangement itself, Duryodhana was going mad. He just didn't know what to do, so he ran. Now, in spite of understanding the situation, because he's in this mode, in this materialistic mode, three modes were so much bounded onto him. With that fear, he just ran to, instead of appreciating his team, like we have this, corporate style today. We go in, before we start a day, we start a huddle, appreciate someone to boost the morale. Instead of doing all of that, he just, cared a hang of any of those. He just walked up to his guru and he pointed at his guru, stating, because of your mistake. Now, why did he say because of your mistake? What was the mistake? Why did he say your mistake?
He accepted Drishtadyumna as his pupil.
Okay, yes. He could accept anybody as the disciple. So, what was so wrong in accepting Drishtadyumna as a disciple?
He's in the opposite enemy.
Because he pledged to kill him.
Yes. It was not him who pledged to kill him, because of some misunderstanding between Dronacharya and Drupada. Now, who is Drupada? Drupada is the king of Panchala, right? Where Panchali comes from. He's the father of Draupadi. Drupada is the father of Draupadi. So, because of some misunderstanding between Dronacharya and Drupada, now Drupada underwent a deep penance and, sought the blessing or the boon of getting a son who could kill Dronacharya. Okay. Now, in spite of knowing, who could kill Dronacharya. Now, in spite of knowing this, Dronacharya knew that Drishtadyumna is that particular child. Yet, he accepted. Why? Because when Drishtadyumna came and asked and asked Dronacharya to be the master, Dronacharya thought, see, any which ways I have to die. I might die today, I might die tomorrow, or I might die in his hands or someone else's hands. So how does it matter if I accept this child as my, as my bhakta and, guide him and train him, give him the knowledge. As a disciple, train him to be on the battlefield. So he accepted. And that is why Duryodhana is so mad at his guru and saying that because of your mistake, the Pandavas' army is arranged in such a way. All right. Now, of course, nobody in Kaurava's team wanted the fight except Duryodhana. Nobody was ready. All of them were just there because Duryodhana wanted, and Duryodhana had got the situation to such a maximum extent that he had to, that they had to just, follow Duryodhana as the pledge, as the oath that they had taken towards protecting this particular Kauravas family. So apart from that, they had no other reason. All of them were just disinterested. Now, here, as being a blind individual, of course he is, taking care of the kingdom. But how do you think he's taking care of a kingdom as a blind individual? How do you think Dhritarashtra saw or heard whatever was happening? Via whom? How did he see it? How did he know? Sitting there somewhere in his palace, how did he know what was happening on the Kurukshetra battlefield?
Sanjaya used to.
With the help of Sanjaya.
Okay, Sanjaya, but Sanjaya was also not there. Sanjaya was also there in, the palace.
So he was blessed with that vision that he'll be able to see what is happening in the Kurukshetra.
Bingo, yes. By whom?
By Krishna.
By Vyasadeva. Yes.
Yeah.
Vyasadeva, none other than Krishna. Yes. He was blessed by Vyasadeva to Vyasadeva, his guru, that he has this, vision of seeing whatever is happening, which is called what?
Dribya Drishti.
Divya Drishti, yes, which is called Divya Drishti. So he had this blessing, boon of Divya Drishti, via which he is able to see what is happening on the battlefield. Now, the very important shloka of the very first chapter. Now, before we get started with, or before we understand this particular thing, I'd like to help you understand. Now, do you know how many shlokas were spoken by Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, and how many shlokas were spoken by Arjuna or anyone else?
700.
Yes. So overall, Bhagavad Gita is of 700 shlokas. Now, out of 700 shlokas, 574 shlokas were spoken by Sri Krishna himself, which is 82%. 82% of Gita was spoken by Sri Krishna himself. Arjuna spoke 84 shlokas, which is 12%. Sanjaya spoke 41 shlokas, which is 3.9%. And Dhritarashtra also had this opportunity of speaking, which is 1 shloka. And where did he speak? The very first chapter, because of him, that's the starting. Dhritarashtra is the starting of Bhagavad Gita. He is the one who's starting Bhagavad Gita, right? With the first chapter, first shloka, which is Dhritarashtra uvacha dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta yuyutsavaha mamakah pandavaschaiva kimma kurvata sanjaya. What does this mean? What does this mean? Dharma kshetre kurukshetre. Now he's asking, what is happening on this dharma kshetra, which is Kurukshetra? What is happening on this Kurukshetra? Now, okay, I've given half of it. Does someone know what was this? What's the translation of this particular shloka?
I know, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji, please go.
What are the Pandaputras are doing, whether they are ready to fight or in such intention Dhritarashtra is asking, Prabhuji, to
Yes,
Sanjaya.
partly right. Yes, Mataji. So he's saying Mamaka, which means my son, and the sons of Pandus, Pandavaschaiva, Mamaka, and Pandavaschaiva, which means here he's differentiating. Though it's one family, brothers. Now, of course, here even in our generation, my elder brother or my younger brother's sons are treated as my sons, right? Yes, no, maybe?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
But see, because they're all same family, they all carry the same surname. Yet he differentiated, saying, Mamaka, my sons and the sons of Pandu, what are they doing? He didn't ask what is everyone doing. He's saying Dharmakshetra. Now here the example is very clearly seen, as you can see. This is like milk, right? And the moment he said Mamaka Pandava, here he's talking about the milk being curdled. All right. Kim Makurvata, what is happening? Which is the sweet, the rasgulla that he wanted from the battlefield. All right. That's where Bhagavad Gita actually started, as you can see. Oh, my teacher, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by intelligent disciple, the son of Drupada. That is what we've spoken about earlier, which is Bhagavad Gita Shloka 1.3. Look at his expressions. Look at his eyes with fear. In spite of his battlefield, in spite of his army being so strong, he was shattered by just looking the first, moment when he was shattered with the arrangements of the army. Now, apart from that, now in spite of everybody blowing conch shell, in spite of this entire huge army supporting him, in spite of these great warriors being with him, or the conch shells being blown, nothing happened to Pandavas. All right, they were all like, okay. Now here, once they've blown conch shell, we will blow our conch shells and then we'll get started. So they were all okay with it. But the moment Pandavas started blowing their conch shell one after the other, Sri Krishna blew his conch shell, and then Arjuna blew his conch shell, and then slowly all the other Pandavas blew their conch shell. Now the moment the sound, imagine, what is Sri Krishna's conch shell known as? What's the name of Krishna's conch shell? Does anyone know?
Panchajanya.
Panchajanya.
Panchajanya, yes. Then what is the name of Arjuna's conch shell?
Dandavat.
Devadatta.
Devadatta, sorry, sir. Devadatta.
Right? So when the sound, the vibrations, the holy vibrations were heard, that sound itself shattered everyone in the Kauravas. They all were scared of what's going to happen next with that sound vibration itself. The entire, army of, they were all half dead by just listening to that sound, to be honest. By just listening to the conch shells, they were half dead. Now, why was that particular case? Why was it that they were half dead or so scared? Now, of course, Dharmakshetra. Now, also, in spite of this army being so strong, why did Dhritarashtra want to know what was happening in the battlefield? He should be rest assured that, yes, my sons will win the war and come. Why was he scared?
Hare Krishna Prabhu ji, he was scared because उनको लगता था कि pious place है, कुरुक्षेत्र धर्म क्षेत्र इंडिकेट किया गया है, तो उसका कहीं इफेक्ट ना हो जाए और वो लड़ाई करने का मन ना बदल दे, बैटल करने का मन ना बदल दे.
Absolutely. Dharmakshetra, Kurukshetra, as per the history, is the most pious place. Dharmakshetra. You're right, Mataji. Thank you very much. So, because this war was happening on the battlefield, on the battlefield was chosen as Kurukshetra, which is such a holy place. Now here, Dhritarashtra didn't know what would happen. So that is one reason why they were all scared. What is the other reason?
Lord Krishna himself is with Arjuna.
Yes. Now there are multiple reasons why we all know that Arjuna wins. Right? Arjuna won because of multiple reasons. Yes. One, we said that the Dharmakshetra, because it's the land of Dharma, land of piousness, right? Which is one. Two, or priority, which is the number one point, Sri Krishna himself was on the side of Pandavas. Now, what could be the other reason?
Gandiva is with Arjuna.
Gandiva is with Arjuna. What is Gandiva?
It is gifted to Arjuna,
It's a
who
bow.
cannot be defeated. Means no one can be defeated by who carries.
It's the bow, right? It's the bow gifted, right? Yes. Yes, Gandiva is with Arjuna. All right. We have some reasons, but I'm sure all of y'all, when y'all keep giving me reasons, the list of reasons, I probably just have 5, 6, or 7 reasons. But when y'all keep giving me the list, I think the list can go up to 17, 18. In my last batch, the list went up to a huge number. So why don't y'all give me the list? Let's see how does the list increase. Yes, please. Anyone, please unmute and give me the list. What do you all think are the reasons why Arjuna won? One,
Because he knew that Arjun is inside of Dharma. He is doing the correct thing. Like Dhritarashtra knew that his son was wrong in his place, and they were wrongfully doing this. But he was not telling this, not showing that, but he knew that it's a dharma that his sons are doing.
right. So which means because they were right, because dharma was followed. Okay, wonderful. The truth, satyameva jayate. That's what we say, right? Satyameva jayate. That's what was said. So yes, because they knew that the truth will prevail. Yes. Okay. What else?
Arjuna is a friend and also a devotee.
Yes, Arjuna is the friend, also devotee. But see, just because, how did he become a devotee? Now thank you very much for bringing this particular point. This is a very crucial point. Now, what happens is when we don't understand what to do at certain points, we just try to think from our perspective, maybe ego factors, we don't approach anyone. But here, Arjuna approached Sri Krishna and asked and sought the assistance, sought his help. He surrendered unto him without his ego, without anything. That clearly states how pure-hearted, what a pure soul Arjuna is, right? Okay, so he sought blessings, he sought assistance from Krishna himself. What next? What else?
The relative.
Okay, their relatives, because of which Krishna wanted to support. Okay, that could be one of the reasons. But yeah, for that matter, even Kauravas are Krishna's relatives. Why did Krishna not support Kauravas? Because Kauravas and Pandavas are just one family at the end of the day. And if Pandavas are Krishna's relatives,
Kauravas are not following Dharma.
yes, Dharma, truth. Yes, we've spoken about that. Okay, what next?
Krishna said that I have already killed them, you just take the credit.
Okay, partly. Okay, what next?
Could kill Duryodhan because they were too powerful from anyone in the team.
Right. Okay. So here are the reasons why. The one, Dharmakshetra, one, divine chariot. Now the entire chariot itself was the gift. It was a divine gift given by Suryadev, right? And Kapidwaja, as you all can see, here we have Hanumanji's flag. Now Hanumanji, when he won, what did he win with Ramji? Which battle did he win with Ramji?
Lanka.
Which battle was that? Anyone?
Lanka Dahan.
Lanka Dahanam.
So yes, in Ramayan, he won the war with Ramji himself, where he was victorious, right? So since he saw the victory already, Arjuna placed him on the top and ensured that he sought his blessings. Because very important point again that's clearly spoken here is unless and until we have Guru's blessings, we will never be able to understand, or we will never be able to walk the right path, which is also the case with Gita. Unless and until we have Guru Maharaj's blessings. Now, Gita, there are many scholars. We are not here to understand or be the scholar. Now, there are a lot of people, someone in my office asked me day before yesterday, how many shlokas do you recite? There's one, cousin of mine. She has won a gold medal for reciting about 500 shlokas. Now, there are a lot of people who could recite 500, 700 shlokas itself. Does that mean that they understand Gita? No. Because unless and until you have Guru's guidance, unless and until you're in that particular path of, faith of understanding Guru, or understanding from whom you're receiving this particular message, you will never be able to understand Gita. That's another reason. That's the reason why he has sought the blessings of Hanumanji. That's Kapidwaja and Shankhanada. Of course, the conch shell blowing, and Gandiva, we've spoken about that. And it was Mokshada Ekadashi. Right? Apart from that, of course, Bhagya Lakshmi. Where do you think Lakshmi Devi is? Lakshmi Devi is where Narayan is. Right? Yes, no, maybe?
Correct, Prabhuji.
Right? So if Krishna is on their side, so does that mean that Lakshmi Devi is not on their side? Bhagya Lakshmi Devi is on their side as well. Yeah? And what else?
Rishikesha means Krishna himself.
Exactly, Krishna himself. And what else do you all see? Did we miss anything? What is Tyakta Jivita? What is Tyakta Jivita? Okay, so let's take that as a homework, since none of us are aware of it. Let's take that as a homework. I'll talk about that, or I want you all to talk about this tomorrow. All right, we'll start with this particular homework. What is Tyakta Jivita and how did this come here? Okay. All right. Now, let's understand.
Arjuna is called in one of the devotional service Sakyam relationship with Krishna, right, Prabhuji? So maybe that one.
What is Arjuna called? Arjuna is
the relationship between Krishna and Arjuna in the devotional form is Sakyam, right? Like friendship with the Lord.
Sakyam, yes.
Yeah. So I thought that is means somewhat little bit meaning for Tyakta Jivita. Like complete surrender to Lord, hoping, means keeping belief in God.
Yes, all right. So there's no homework. All right. So here's the summary. So Bhagavad Gita, the first chapter, we're looking at compassion. Arjuna's compassion towards his family. Arjuna's compassion, and he says there's no enjoyment in what do I get at the end of the day. I'm just summarizing, all right. So when Arjuna asked Krishna to drive the chariot in the middle, he just asked, he was so compassionate towards the rest, the entire Kauravas, and said, what would happen? What enjoyment would I get by killing my own family? Isn't that a sin? All right. And then he asked, what would happen to the family's tradition? What would the next lineage know that the families, that the brothers killed themselves? And then he was indecisive if he's supposed to proceed or not. All right. So that's all that we are talking about in Bhagavad Gita chapter 1, and his indecision is Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 that we will look at. All right. So basically, let me just to summarize. Bhagavad Gita chapter 1 is talking about compassion, Arjuna's compassion, and then he says there's no enjoyment, it's a sin, and then what would happen to family's tradition, and there's indecisiveness. All right, so what's happening? Observing the armies on the battlefield, Kim Akurvata, right? Kim Akurvata. If these are the words, what is happening? That's Dhritarashtra's inquiry. And Duryodhana's fear was Mahatim Chamum Yudham, right? So that was his, inquiry. And blowing of conch shells, Arjuna's observation, and then Arjuna's reasons to not fight. Because, like I said, he said, it's the family that's on the opposite end. So what's the point of me killing or fighting this particular battle? Now, the ones who are not able to remember the entire shloka, just remember these words, these key words that you all see, right? And then you will clearly be able to follow whatever is supposed to be understood. So that's the summary of Bhagavad Gita. The very first shloka of the very first chapter is the most important one. If all of y'all could recite and remember, that'll be wonderful. It's very easy to recite. All that you all have to do is just follow the singing song pattern, and then you all will be able to memorize it clearly. Don't memorize it as if you're reading a question and answer. You all would never be able to memorize any of the shlokas. For you all to memorize shloka, the easy way is to sing, right? When you sing, you will easily be able to remember that particular shloka. So that shloka of number 1, that's spoken by Dhritarashtra. Dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta yuyutsavah mamakah pandavaschaiva kimma kurvata sanjaya. This is the first shloka, very important. If you all could by heart it, if you all could recite, when you all have time, it will be wonderful. Now we're open to seek or ask questions. If you all have any questions, please ask your questions.